Hi dear friends, this is Marina here, and if you have your sun or ascendant sign in Cancer, then this video is exactly for you. Something really important is happening, guys. On the 20th of December, we have the transit Saturn entering Capricorn, and actually Saturn will stay there for the next 3 years until the end of 2020. So what I'm going to talk about is actually going to influence you and be true for your life for the next 3 years. And when we talk about Saturn, first of all, the most important is that Saturn enters the sign of its rulership, Capricorn. That's a very strong position, which means that Saturn will have this this ability actually to materialize certain things in our lives. And 7th house is one of the most important houses in the horoscope. This is a cardinal house, and it is also about our personal relationships. And when I say relationships, of course, I mean everything from your closest friends and your husband or wife and your romantic relationship partner, and also all kinds of business partnerships. So when Saturn enters this house in your horoscope, it really brings the focus and the attention on this area of your life. So yeah, you may really want to have more stability in the area of relationships. And for those who have been single, this might be the time when they can really consider the opportunity and their desire to have a stable relationship. And with Saturn in your 7th house, yeah, it's not so easy to start some new relationships. Saturn is a slow planet, and it doesn't bring plenty and opportunities like abundance in certain area. So yeah, you may not have so many opportunities to start new romantic relationships, and you may not be so interested in others, or maybe there are not so many people who are attracted by you. But if there is someone who is attracted, and if you are interested in someone, then this may turn into something much more stable. So it's really not the time when you need to have many people interested in you. It's not what you need. You need to have someone that you can rely on, someone which will show you that he is seriously interested in you and he wants something that will turn into something stable and long lasting. So as I said, it's not so easy to start new relationships when Saturn is in your 7th house. At certain point, you may really feel like you're a little bit stuck in this area. Nothing is happening, or things require much more time. But once that the right person appears, and it's very likely that he will appear, because Saturn, as we said, is very strong in Capricorn. So it can activate this area of your life. And keep in mind that it happens only once in 30 years for around 3 years. So this is the time when Saturn can reward you, especially if you have been waiting for too long. If you feel like, the area of relationships is not so good for you, you're not successful, you're always disappointed, this might be the time when Saturn can reward you, especially if you are 30 years old or older than that. If you have passed the first Saturn return, which is around the age of 28, 29 years, when you are on that age, then Saturn can have a stronger impact on your life and can reward you. Keep in mind that after this age, 28, 29, after the first Saturn return, this is the time when Saturn is more generous with us. Generally speaking, it doesn't matter which area of your life it will influence you. It's more likely, to reward you with something and for you to be able to manifest something. So especially if you are 29 or 30 or older than that, it's very likely that Saturn can reward you with a serious relationship and a very reliable partner. Now, keep in mind, when we talk about Saturn, it's not about some intense passion and, you know, flying in the skies and dreaming and having this perfect partner, which is kind of idealized. It's not usually happening when we are talking about Saturn. But the positive side is that, as I said, this might be a very reliable person. And you may feel like this is the one, the right person, which will help you to be more grounded, to be more stable. Yeah, we know that when Saturn is in Capricorn, basically it will make opposition with your own sign. So you may feel a little restricted. You may feel like, well, in order for you to have this relationship, you may need to give up on some of your personal, you know, plans, or at least this person may require from you to be more grounded, to be more responsible, to be more practical, organized, disciplined, everything which Saturn requires. But of course, this may turn into something positive. Even though if you are, you know, restricted and tested, it may actually help you to grow and to, you know, for example, fight with some kind of bad habits that you may have. For example, if you're not so disciplined, maybe you don't manage your time very well. Now, through your partnerships, you are more capable to, you know, change all of these personal habits. And yeah, it might be because this person requires you from that, requires you to do that. And yeah, it feels kind of restricting, but keep in mind, it's for your good. It's for, you know, it brings the potential to become better and to achieve some material results, which is really important when Saturn is in Capricorn. Of course, those who are already in a relationship and, for example, they have been with someone for maybe a few years or some time has passed, now is the time when you may decide that you know, you really want to make things formal, and getting married is something positive for you. Usually, you know, actually always in all of the methods, especially in the solar arc directions method, we need to have Saturn making major aspect with the cardinal houses if we want to find indications for possible marriage. So Saturn, even though it's not a romantic planet, it's not related with emotions, actually it can be kind of restricting in the area of emotions, but for having a legal marriage, you always need Saturn. Saturn making aspect with the cusp of your 7th house, Saturn transiting your 7th house, or maybe Saturn making an aspect with the ruler of your 7th house or a planet in 7th house. In all of these cases, we can talk about the opportunity to have an official legal marriage. So when Saturn is in your 7th house during the next 3 years, you may really have the opportunity to get married, which is, I think, great news for Cancer. Now, as we said, 7th house also is about our business partnerships. Saturn is also a very business-related planet, so it can really help you to create these important, long-lasting, stable business partnerships. In the area of personal contacts and friendships, it might have a restricting influence, you know, because if you are, for example, wasting your time talking on the phone with your friends or hanging up with them and, you know, just relaxing but not doing something related with work, then Saturn can definitely restrict that. But if you're meeting with someone and you discuss, you know, your business or some work projects or, you know, how you can collide and work together, then Saturn is actually going to support all of that, and you may have more time to do that. You may feel like through this relationship and partnership, you're able to materialize more in your life. So consider that it's really important. Now, 7th house is also related with your popularity and the audience that you work with. Of course, if that's something that you know is important to you, if that's your work or you know, you're a public figure. Saturn in 7th house requires you also to be very responsible about your public appearances. People can be more judgmental, more critical, so you're actually supposed and suggested to be more, you know, disciplined about the things that you do, to be very accurate about everything, about your promises, and maybe, you know, to do things that will help you to be more respected from others. This can be a very important topic for you, actually, to feel like you're respected and others can, you know, they are able to see your hard work and the efforts that you are putting. So guys, this is the most important. Saturn will stay for 3 years in your 7th house, and as usual, 7th house is about relationships and partnerships, and as I said, Saturn in Capricorn suggests that you can really materialize something stable in this area of your life. Keep in mind, it requires work, it's not always easy, you may feel kind of tested at some point, but it's totally worth it. So thank you very much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to be informed whenever I have some new videos or you know, some astrology news for you, and I will see you very soon.